everybody, welcome to another video. My name is Infiniti and today I'm back with another Continental knitting stitch tutorial. Today I will be showing you guys how to knit the drop stitch or the drop garter stitch, and it is named that way because you have these seemingly dropped stitches between horizontal rows of garter stitch. It's a very easy stitch. It's a very versatile stitch. You can pick and choose how many rows you would like to have between these drop sets of stitches, and one of the great things about it is that it is reversible, so it looks great on both sides, and it is great for summer projects. Obviously, me being me, I wanted to make a garment with it, and I still might in the future. It has a really great horizontal stretch and it has a decent vertical stretch. And actually towards the end, when you get ready, well, after you cast off, you can simply pull on it a little bit and kind of tug at these drop stitches to make sure that all of these horizontal bars of your garter stitch are all tucked in, because these are knit in some pretty loose rows. I think that was it about this stitch, so without further ado, let's dive into this tutorial. And if you're new here, consider subscribing to the channel and ringing that notification bell so you don't miss out on my future content and I can be a part of your continental knitting journey. Alright, let's dive in. Alright, to start off today, I'm going to start with a slip knot, and I'm going to cast on however many my tail will allow me to. So for this stitch, there is no specific increment that you have to cast on with. Here I am simply casting on with a long tail cast on. However, if you wanted to use a favored cast on, you are more than welcome to do that also. Okay, for today's tutorial, I'm not going to do a super huge swatch, so I've just cast on 22 stitches. Alright, and what you're going to want to do for rows 1 through 4 is knit every stitch along. So it's a very basic, very simple, almost beginner pattern. Or it is a beginner pattern in my opinion. Alright, I'm just going to weave my end in as I go along, so I'm knitting my tail into my first row. And then I'm going to knit all of my other rows with a regular strand. Alright, and I'm going to continue to knit the next 3 rows, and I'll meet you guys back when I am ready to start row number 5, which is the interesting part of our pattern. Alright, knitting my last stitch of row 4. And this is what it looks like, just some really cute garter stitch. Alright, now on to row 5. Row 5 starts the real fun here. So what we're going to do is we're going to start this off with our repeat. We're going to knit 1, and then we're going to yarn over twice, and we're going to knit 1. So, let me explain that. I'm going to insert my needle knitwise. I'm going to knit this first stitch, and all is right with the world. Now, this is important. You want to yarn over. So here we're going to be bringing the yarn forward towards us and back behind, so that the working yarn ends up back to the back as though to knit. And we're going to do that again. Okay, and then we're just going to knit the next stitch. That's simple. That's all we're going to do for this row. Is just yarn over twice, knit the next stitch. Yarn over twice, knit the next stitch. Now I do want to say, if you accidentally yarn under, there is a difference, but if you accidentally yarn under, it will just change the direction of the drop stitches. Typically this is a forward facing stitch, However, because it is reversible, if you did yarn under, it would just flip it to the back, and it's really no big deal because you can turn it on either side. So no pressure. I'm just taking the time here and there to stretch out my stitches on my working needle because, as you see, we are basically tripling the amount of stitches on our needles. So just to have extra room and not have them all bunched up on one another is pretty good for tension. Knit that stitch, and now we're at one last stitch, and you guessed it, we're going to do our 2 yarn overs, and we're going to knit that last stitch. Okay, and this is what our work looks like at the end of row 5. And I will say that this is a good stitch. If you have tight tension, then you're going to probably struggle with gliding your stitches across your needle like I am at the moment. But if you have loosey-goosey tension, then, I mean, it's going to move around more, but either way, it doesn't really affect the beauty of the stitch, which is a nice thing about it. Alright, now on to the final row of our repeat, row 6. We are going to start the repeat of knit 1, drop 2. So essentially we're going to be knitting the knit stitches and dropping the yarn overs from the previous row. So I'm going to knit this first stitch, and then I promise you this is the scariest part of this stitch. These 2 loops between that knit stitch, you're just going to drop them off the needle like that, and then you're going to knit the next stitch. And we'll straighten this out later. I'm going to pluck off those 2 stitches, 2 yarn overs, and then you're going to knit the next stitch. Pluck off the yarn overs, knit the next stitch, and so on all the way across the row. And knitting that last stitch off of there, and this is the result of row 6. Like I said, it's apt to flip these stitches forward, though sometimes you might not be able to tell because it is such a tangly thing to deal with. I can kind of focus that for you. And so to move on from this row, we've just start over from row 1 and repeat rows 1 through 4. So I'm going to knit the next 4 stitches, the next 4 rows, and show you guys what that looks like. And I'll meet you guys back when I have done so. Alright, and I have knit up my last 4 rows, and this is what it looks like on the back. I put a little stitch marker back here so I can keep count. And this is what it looks like on the front. And eventually, I realize this is bright, so eventually if you keep working up rows 1 through 6, you end up with a piece of fabric that looks like this. And again, it's versatile because either you can continue to do garter stitch between these drop stitches, or you can switch over and do some stockinette if you so choose, or you can vary the amounts of rows of garter between these drop rows. I think in here somewhere I lost count. I did like 6 rows instead of 4. Don't tell anybody. So it's a very good beginner stitch for lace, like I said at the beginning. And typically I'll give this stitch just an extra little pull between here, and it will really just make that loose first row pull together and look cohesive with the rest of the fabric. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If so, don't forget to leave this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you don't miss out on future Continental knitting tutorials from me. If you're looking for more, consider heading over to Instagram and giving me a follow over there. I post WIP pictures and a lot of product pictures. I have a handmade shop where I sell my pottery and my knit and crochet items as well as my patterns. And so I tend to feature all of that stuff over there. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, head over there today. Or if you want more in-depth, essentially updates on that, then you can head over to my website and sign up for the newsletter. Alright, that's about it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial, and until next time, happy making. This video is brought to you by my supporters on Ko-fi. Thank you so much. Your donations help drive the creativity behind all the content under Infiniti Crafting Co.